Good afternoon, YouTube. How y'all doing? Getting good, I hope. Anyways, happy Homebrew Wednesday. It's a little late. I'm recording it on a Wednesday, but I'll be uploading it on a Thursday. I know I'm not a regular. I haven't. Sometimes I have time to do it. Sometimes I don't have time to do it. But I try and get them up as much as I can. Basically, yeah. How's everybody doing? Good. I hope. Anyways, what do I have going right now? Well, it's March now, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beers so far in fermenters. 3 of them are in secondary, and 2 of them are in primary. I still have a ways to go. I have so that's 3, 4, 5. So I have 7 more beers to brew by the time summer rolls around. Having a beer from Beyond the Pale Brewing Company. So what beers do I have in the fermenter as well? In secondary, I have a blonde citrus ale. I have a grapefruit wheat beer, and I have a red rye IPA. And the funny thing about that one is there is no citrus hops in there whatsoever. It's all like peach, apricot, melon, all that type, that style of hops. So I'm quite intrigued to try it. It is going to be a big beer. It brings in about, let me see here. I got it loaded here. Give me a second. It is going to be a 7% beer. So 7% beer and 60 IBUs, and it's about 14.7 SRM. Beautiful looking beer. I guess you can call it a red IPA, or a red rye IPA. Basically, it's made like any other IPA, except I added rye and I added some red grains. I think Cara Roma, Cara Red, and some Crystal Waltz in there. Hops, not 100% sure. Hops, I used Calypso, Eldorado, Nelson Sauvin, and Summer, Australian Summer. So yeah, so it's going to be more of like peach, apricot, melon, a candy, that type of characteristic. So I'm quite intrigued to try that one. I had a sample when I put it into the secondary, and it was quite good and quite red. What else? So yeah, and the 2 in primary fermentation are, I did a kiwi wit with New Zealand hops. Yes, I did. So you got, it's basically a kiwi wit, and I substitute the orange for the kiwi, and I use about 4 pounds of kiwi. And basically, what I did there was chop the kiwi up into 1-inch cubes, threw it in the at 0 minutes, stirred it around for about 10 minutes, like a whirlpool effect, and let it sit for 20 minutes before I chilled it. And used New Zealand hops. I can't remember exactly which hops I used. Give me a second and I'll look it up here. I'm glad I have everything fairly close, and it will be at the bottom of this. And yep. So I used Nelson Sauvin, and Waiti. So we'll see how that turns out. So those are the hops I used. These 2 hops. I think I put them at 2 types of hops. One was at 60 minutes, and then the next one was at 15 minutes. I used about a half an ounce of coriander seed, and I used a Belgian wheat yeast from Y Yeast Labs. And so basically what's going to happen here is, as the beer's fermenting, the kiwi wheat this is, as the beer's fermenting, it's going to absorb all of those juices and sugars from the kiwi fruit, and then once the kiwi fruit is flavors and aromas have been stripped, technically they're going to turn white and they're going to flip to the top of the fermenter. So as soon as that happens, I know it's time to switch them to secondary. So it's going to be quite interesting, you know. I decided to do a little twist there with a kiwi wheat in honor of my New Zealand friends. Kiwis are big in New Zealand, so I don't really have a very good local homebrew shop here where I can go in and get kiwi puree or any of that stuff. I have to order it, and there is a place in Canada that does sell it, but then I have to pay shipping and all of that, and or I can go to the States and pick it up there, but I didn't have any of that, so I just went to the grocery store and picked up 4 pounds of kiwis. Cost me about $6 for 4 pounds of kiwi. Peeled it with I peeled the fur off with the potato peeler, and you know, it took very thin layers off, so I didn't really use much of the trick. I didn't lose much of the fruit. And the trick here is, when you're picking your kiwis, make sure they're very hard kiwis. That way it's easier to peel, and the fruit won't turn on you as fast. So if you don't have time to do it that day, you can wait a couple of days and be able to do it if the kiwis are hard. So basically it's your standard wheat beer, Belgian wheat. Belgian wheat, Y yeast is the yeast I used. Used New Zealand hops, I told you what they were, and I used kiwis instead of orange peels. So we'll see how that turns out. It's going to be about a 5% beer. And the other one that's in primary fermentation I just made yesterday is a maple rye amber ale. So it's very red and very maple syrup, you know, because March, April is in Canada is our maple syrup time of year. So that's going to be a good beer. Basically, you pick an amber ale you like, add some rye to it, anywhere between 1 and 2 pounds, depending on how spicy you want it and whatnot, or how much rye you want in it, and maple syrup. Now, basically, there's a couple of ways you can do the maple syrup addition. You can put it into the kettle at 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 0 minutes, whatever you want. Some people actually use the maple sap and the maple syrup, but I don't have access to maple sap, so I just used maple syrup. I threw it in the kettle and did a whirlpool effect for a little bit, let it sit for 20 minutes, transferred it to secondary, and the original gravity right now was 1.070, so it's going to be about a 7% beer, I guess. We'll see when it ferments out. So that's those beers that are in my fermenters and my primaries and my secondaries. Beers that are coming are a milk stout, a coconut IPA, and pineapple pale ale, so 1, 2, 3. Oh, an orange creamsicle ale, so an orange cream ale. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then after that, I'm gonna make some lagers. I'm gonna make a black lager, a red lager, and a light lager. I have 12 kegs to fill, and so far with those is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all my kegs should be filled by then. The lagering is going to take a while, so that'll give me time to empty some of the kegs that I have on tap right now. On tap right now, I have a Scotch ale, I have an IPA, I have a Black Schwartz beer, and I have Ginger Saison, which is, by the way, fantastic. So yeah, that's about it. That's about it for what I have going and what I have planned. I haven't entered any competitions. I've been brewing for 5 years. I haven't entered any competitions. I might do it this year. I'm not sure. But we'll see how it goes. I only do all grain. I don't do extract or kit beers whatsoever. I've never done it. I've never tried it, never done it. I just jumped right into all grain brewing. I don't really have a fancy setup as of yet, but if you've watched my other Homebrew Wednesdays, I do have all the parts for the electric brewery panel. So I have to build that and get that going, and then I have to buy the pots. So, eventually I will have an electric brewery, but until then, I keep doing what I'm doing. I have 2 giant stainless steel pots, a giant extreme cooler, which is my mash tun with a bazooka screen in there, and a stainless steel ball valve, and that's my mash tun. And also in the mash tun, because it's an extreme cooler, it has like a divot, so the bazooka screen fits right in there, so it works out really well. My pots are basically just giant canning pots, when you can your vegetables or salsa or whatever the heck you can. It's just a big stainless steel canning pot. I don't have any slide glass on it. I don't have any taps on it or anything like that. So that's all I have. And I do have an old banjo burner outside. I haven't used it in years. And I have the big aluminum turkey fryer, which I haven't used in years. Propane's a little expensive, so I have an induction stove. So the induction stove actually works really well for me. It's the crumbler of the Beyond the Pale. This is called the Mullet. It's a Belgian IPA. They're a local brewery to me here in Ontario, Canada. They are in the Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Also known as Westboro, is where they're located. Actually, the area of Ottawa they're located is Westboro. Cheers. Yeah, so that's my brewing setup. And the other thing I used to use was I don't know how many of you will know it or have seen it, but it's a Cajun injector. Now what this is, it's an electric version of a turkey fryer. So basically I can do exactly 5 gallons, exactly, but I have to be very careful because it's very full, and I have to watch because the boilovers are crazy. So yeah, so I just have to be careful when I'm using it. And I do have, they are 1200 watt electrical, whatchamacallits, prongs, I guess. I don't know what you would call them. Anyways, and they're digital, so there's a box on top and it's digital, and there's two of them that I bought. It comes, the kit comes with one, but I bought an extra element. That's what it is, an element, so that it can boil faster. And these elements, you can use them on any pot you want, because the way they're built and designed. The only thing is they're only so high, so depending on how deep your pot is or whatnot, you may or may not be able to use it. So yeah, I have that, and then I have a beer fridge which stores about 3 to 4 kegs in there. I can fit, but right now there's only 2 kegs in there, and the fridge is full of beers, like from local breweries and beers from around the world that I've come by and haven't got around to drinking or reviewing yet. So yeah, those are in the beer fridge, and I have over 1,000 pounds of grain and over about 100 pounds of hops. I have American hops, New Zealand hops, and Germany, UK hops. Obviously there is Czech Saaz in there for the Pilsners and stuff, but that's the only oddball I have. I also have a Keyser. I haven't changed it to a kegerator yet. I will eventually change it to a kegerator, and it fits 4 kegs. But right now I'm using it as a Keyser, just with 3 kegs in there, and then basically when I make my lagers and stuff, I take the kegs out and I put them in the fridge, and I use the Keyser as a fermentation chamber for lagers and pilsners, because there is a temperature controller on there. It's an old school temperature controller. It's like a dial. So I went out and bought a digital display so I can see what the actual temperature is without guessing on the knob. And yeah, that's how I ferment my lagers in there. Basically, I put them in a glass carboy. They stay in there for about a month, primary fermentation, and then after that, for the next month, so it takes me usually 2 months to make pilsners or lagers. I could probably do it faster, but I take my time, because fermentation probably takes 1 or 2 weeks, and then you can take another 4 weeks, so that's 6 weeks instead of 8 weeks. So after the first month, second month, I drop the temperature by 1 or 2 degrees every few days until it gets to 0, and then it stays at 0 for a week or 2, and then I do a test and see if the beer is ready, and yeah, so that's how I do my lagers, and it works for me, and yeah. So anyways, peeps, thanks for watching. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, and until next time, Brew by Me is out. Cheers.